WUnderground, Washington University's premier and only satirical newspaper, has a long, storied, and until now, untold history. The vaunted periodical has been the subject of much speculation, adulation, and ovulation since its humble beginnings 5 decades ago. Only now, however, will the public finally be able to see the full, uncensored details behind the St. Louis area's 9th funniest collegiate satire newspaper, as we unearth WUnderground.
WUnderground traces its roots back to the boom of satire in the United States, the early 1960s. Political satire was a new art form, rising alongside the advent of modern television, and the students at WashU wanted to be among the first colleges to capitalize. On September 16th, 1961, the very first issue of WUnderground was released. It was a work in progress.
The first issue in 1961 did not do well critically, mainly because the writers didn't know what satire was. They had this vague notion, something about purporting news to be news that wasn't actually news. It was way off.
The early issues of WUnderground were more like Blunderground. You know, like blunder. My point is it wasn't really that funny.
WUnderground's popularity hit rock bottom in 1964 with the now infamous issue 4.2, an issue composed entirely of nude photos of the staff with not a single word of text content aside from the title.
4.2 was a disaster. The problem was the staff at the time was not very attractive, at all. And it was all dudes. If we did that now, it'd be fine. In fact, next month, you'll see.
WUnderground in the early 60s was like a disabled baby peacock. It was ugly, it couldn't fly, and it pooped everywhere.
The naked issue fiasco led to an immediate revoking of funding, and after just 3 short years, WUnderground was gone.
The post-WUnderground era in the 1960s was a dark time in campus life. Suicide rates tripled, enrollment dropped 33%, and the average number of laughs per student dipped to just 1.4 a day. I'm guessing. I don't actually have any of that data.
Damn it, Jeff, you can't just make shit up. Fuck, man.
I mean, my point is that there was a void in campus life. Excuse me for trying to make things more interesting.
But WUnderground received a new lease on life in 1968 when 6 students got drunk and decided it would be fun to resurrect the paper. When they woke up the next morning with no memory of the night before, they found a letter confirming an appointment with the Treasury for the next evening. With a little research and hard work, and a lot of bribery and fellatio, they won the Treasury's approval and received funding. WUnderground was back.
The 70s and 80s were something of a golden age for WUnderground. As the writers finally hit their groove, WashU as a whole saw a huge increase in popularity and shot up in the rankings year after year. You don't have to be a genius to see the causal connection there.
But like all success, it didn't last.
WUnderground writers in the early 90s were like campus celebrities. Even more so than today. I mean, these guys were literally getting laid by accident. And the drugs, well, let me put it this way. They don't call cocaine WUnderground for no reason. What? They don't call cocaine WUnderground? Huh. Well, I feel dumb. Whatever, we can just edit that part out. We can't edit that out? Who the hell hired you?
In 1995, WUnderground drug and sex having reached an all-time high, 63.
63? Wow, that's a lot of drug and sex having.
With the amount of drugs they were doing, and sex they were having, it seemed nothing bad could happen to WUnderground. But something did. In 1998, WUnderground staffer Chris Hornsby OD'd on sex and died. The staff published a memorial issue that was lauded as one of the funniest issues ever.
He died the same way he was conceived. Via sex.
2004 was a landmark year for the paper, as it marked the first year someone actually started saving issues for future readers, rather than simply burning all evidence of every copy a week after it was released, as was standard procedure previously. This is why no issues of Wunderground can be found prior to this date. The idea that issues would actually be around in the future ushered Wunderground into the modern era it currently rests in.
Wunderground after 2004 was like a graffiti artist switching from chalk to spray paint. Your work is there to stay. It's definitely illegal, and you gotta make sure not to get paint on your shoes, cause it's probably not gonna come out.
An issue of Wunderground starts right here, in the staff room, where writers pitch article ideas and topics they feel the paper should hit in the upcoming issue.
Alright, guys, what do we hate this week?
Applesauce.
Plaid shirts.
Immigrants.
Clouds! Great. Wait, did someone say immigrants? I'm not writing that.
After the topics are laid on the table, staffers toss around ideas for how the topic might be satirized, and each writer will pick one or two article ideas as his or her own.
Alright, so how about for the applesauce article, we do like, student doesn't like applesauce?
And then we can give him like applesauce and he'd be like, I don't like that food.
Yeah, I'll totally write that one.
After the articles are written and edited jointly by the writer and editor-in-chief, staff meetings focus on collaborative pieces of the issue, such as top tens, what do you thinks, and infographics.
How about for number 7, we say something like too appley?
Apples, yeah.
Jeff, are you eating honey mustard?
Yes.
Once the content is complete, it is formatted, images are added, and the finalized PDF is emailed to the publisher for printing.
Sent.
As writers have come and gone, Wunderground's personality has slowly evolved over the years to get it where it is today.
Wunderground right now is all about humor and journalistic integrity. It's just what we stand for.
I don't know if I can be any more explicit, right? I will pay you with treasury funds to destroy vile publications and poison... Don't film this!
Yeah, that David Drucker guy is just hilarious. And he's good looking to boot.
Staff cohesion is also really big. You know, everyone here is pretty much equal. I mean, frankly, I think I'm one of the funnier and more popular writers on the staff, but we all get along fine.
Alright guys, great meeting. Carol, Corey, David, Whitney, Hans, you wanna get dinner?
Yeah.
Alright, that's great.
Starving.
Lady.
Everything guys?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah, dude, let's get Barrington.
Yeah. It's important that no one feels left out. Yeah, I don't like him. No one likes him. Ugly.
Dumb,
He's
he's
like-
horrible.
Because really, there are no bad writers on the staff.
Jeff's a pretty bad writer. He's definitely the worst on the staff.
Jeff's the worst writer.
Jeff.
Jeff's the smelliest writer. What? Oh, worst writer? Still Jeff.
And unlike a lot of other satire papers that you might find, we abide by a strict no hazing policy for new writers.
Our hazing policy is threefold. First, ridicule. We can't let new writers think they're as good as old writers, so we toss around a few playful insults like novice or amateur, you know, so they know their place.
Guys, I have an idea.
Hey, fuck you, Corey.
Secondly, article printing. We have limited space on our issues, so if 2 articles are deemed to be of equal quality, we'll print the one written by the more senior writer.
Hey, Zach, here's the article I wrote.
Yo, Zach, I wrote poop on a piece of toilet paper.
Awesome!
I know, man.
That's going in!
Yeah, you got it.
And third, stabbing. We will stab with knives new writers. Not always mortal wounds, but, you know, enough to require hospitalization.
Die, freshman!
It's not easy being the only surviving freshman on the staff. I'm sick of being called novice. I've been writing for this paper for 4 months now, and I've earned my place on the staff. Plus, the stabbing hurts.
You can't take a knife, you can't take a joke.
The staff has further forged its unique personality with its own traditions and bonding activities.
Since the girls never showed up, the weekly staff orgies used to seem pretty gay.
Whatever they're doing seems to have paid dividends for Wunderground, as it continues to maintain a firm hold on the #1 spot in comedy satire newspapers on campus.
I think what makes Wunderground so successful is that its writers are the heart and soul of WashU. We know the ins and outs of campus, we're friends with pretty much everyone, we're well respected, and we thrive off that.
Living with Zach is hell. And I'm not exaggerating here. I literally no longer fear hell having lived with Zach. Now, would I say he's the worst person I've ever met? Yes, I would.
It's not easy being so well liked.
If you're still not convinced of how awesome Wunderground is, check out this graph we made.
So with Wunderground firmly established as the premier humor and satire newspaper on campus, what's in store for the future from these attractive and talented individuals?
Well, Wunderground operates under the mantra, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So we're working really hard to fix a lot of things. One thing to look out for in the future is that we're trying to invent a new kind of laughter that we hope to elicit in future issues. It's going to feel twice as satisfying as normal laughter, and it'll be about half as loud. Right now, we're still trying to work out the kinks. We've seen a lot of seizures and sneezing in the clinical trials. It should be ready to go in about 14 months.
Still, despite all its recent success, Wunderground has never forgotten about its shitty past.
Anytime an article is bad, it's a throwback article. Or it's over your head. Or Jeff wrote it.
Wunderground is like Germany. Do we regret some things we've done in the past? Of course. Would we do it all again? Depends on the circumstances.
For now, though, Wunderground's future seems bright. So whether they're just cracking some jokes or jacking some coke, this satire newspaper seems like it's here to stay.